Now, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been this excited about a new hero in Heroes of the Storm for a while. In case you're completely unfamiliar with me, I'm a massive StarCraft 2 nerd. I've been playing that game since forever, and basically the newest hero in Heroes of the Storm is quite literally a Protoss Probe. Now, before jumping to a game, I want to go ahead and quickly introduce you to all of his abilities, because he is most definitely a little bit more complicated to understand right off the get-go. Now, first things first, Probius does not have a mount like many of the other heroes in the game do, but he does have an ability called Worker Rush. On top of that, he's got a passive that makes him move around just a little bit faster as the other heroes do in the game. Now, just like all of the other heroes in the game, he does indeed have a basic attack right here, so he will be able to zap away at the opposing players and a target dummy in this instance as well. His Q ability is called Disruption Pulse, fires a burst of energy forward, dealing damage to all enemies it passes through. So basically, it's like a skill shot in a line with a very short cooldown, only 3 seconds right there, which is very, very significant. We'll go over that in just a little bit, because as you may have already noticed, I'm not actually regenerating any mana. Then we've got my second ability called Warp Rift. Opens an unstable Warp Rift at a location that takes 1.25 seconds to arm, which then slows nearby enemies by 20% for 9 seconds. So this is actually very significant. I can put up 2 of these things. It takes a little bit of time to arm, I suppose, but then I can also go ahead and shoot my Disruption Pulse right at the center to make that thing explode. And that is a very substantial amount of area of effect damage that you can indeed queue up very nicely. However, I am right now out of mana, and the only way you can indeed regenerate mana, and you do get it back really quickly, is by putting in a Pylon as well. So you warp in a Pylon that generates a power field and grants vision of the surrounding area. Probius only regenerates mana while inside of the power field. So indeed, I can put a couple of these up at any given time, and it will be able to power both the buildings that I will be building very shortly, as well as my mana count. So right now, I'm going to be able to continue moving onwards here as well. Say I want to put up 2 of those and like do a lot of damage. You can see I can continuously cast as I don't run out of mana right here for the time being, and it's a lot of damage. Now, the second thing that makes these Pylons very interesting is indeed the fact that they are Photon Cannons that we can be warping in a power field. So we can warp in a Photon Cannon that deals damage, and it lasts for 11 seconds, but however, it must be placed inside of a Pylon power field. So I can indeed put that thing up, and it will be able to start dealing a very significant amount of damage, but it is of course going to be unpowered as soon as the Pylon right here gets killed, plus the duration of it is not super long, but you will be able to put down quite a couple of them, in particular when you spend a few talents on it. Now, the final ability that I want to show you before jumping into the match, because this is the ultimate that we will be running, is called Pylon Overcharge. It's very similar to the Photon Overcharge of StarCraft 2. It increases the size of the Pylon's power field and allows them to attack enemies within it for a whole lot of damage, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So basically what that means is that I can proc my ulti just like that, and the Pylons will start dealing a very substantial amount of damage very shortly. And on top of that, I could actually power like a cannon a little bit further out to potentially pick someone off at a distance. But of course, as soon as that ulti runs out as well, the Pylons are going to be unpowering that cannon. Alrighty, so here we are on the Cursed Hollow. I already gave the GLHF. Are you the real Lowko? Hey, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, oh, he's a big fan. Awesome. Well, hey, nice to meet you, Mr. Saint. I do have to warn you, this is going to be my very first match with Probius as well. So that does mean that we're probably going to make some mistakes, but all things considered, it should be good. Now, I was thinking about just like focusing my build on as much as survivability as possible, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up like the Echo Pulse. Generally speaking, whenever new heroes are available, I don't really want to like risk it all too much. And instead, I'm just gonna try and sit back and be reasonably safe. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I should go ahead and set up my Pylons out in the open, or if that's not worth it. Maybe I should just put one right here in the bush instead, so we can put up a cannon and start dealing some damage with that towards these enemy minions as well. Pretty interesting though. As long as I'm in Pylon power, I can do a lot of damage. There we go. We can actually slow him down really nicely too. And for the time being at least, we're doing quite well, but it's gonna be a little risky. Now, one thing to keep in mind here too that I did not quite mention just yet is the fact that I will have a ton of damage, I suppose, but I do need to be in that power field. Now, I can only have 2 Pylons up at once, okay? If I have more than 2 Pylons up, it will be very tricky. Now, actually, it seems like those explosions are gonna be far better when it comes to like trying to clear up the enemies. They did, by the way, change up a lot of the UI as well, as you may have already noticed. They made a lot of changes actually in this PTR once again, which is awesome. But I think actually the cannons are pretty good, but It seems like this is way better of a combination to try and deal damage with. Now, I can only have 2 of the pylons up at once, right? So that is a pretty interesting thing to keep in mind. If I move one over, the first one that I placed, I suppose, will indeed disappear. There we go. Dude, that range is insane. That's so sick. But yeah, he can attack the pylon as well. Interesting. Such a cool thing. Such a cool combination. Look at that. We can lane very clearly, very nicely here. Now, my HP, obviously, is not going to be that crazy. It's not going to be that high. And on top of that, one thing to note as well about my mount that I did not quite name. Oh man, I can't actually put up my cannon here. I wanted to, but I can't. One thing to note about the mount ability, the worker rush. And we'll pick up, I don't know, shield capacitator, I suppose. One thing that I did not point out just yet is the sense that if I use my mount and I take damage... Okay, I tried doing a lot of work there. I'm gonna try and get out of there. So here's the thing, right? If you activate your mount, or, you know, your worker rush ability, and you take any damage whatsoever, you will be automatically taken out of that mount form. So you cannot actually continue onwards. That is a very important thing to keep in mind, because if you're like caught off guard, right, and you're not capable of, you know, getting out of trouble, and you take one little hit while trying to get that additional movement speed, you'll immediately be dying here as well. So I don't want to like carelessly lose my mount or use my mount ability, and instead just use it to try and like cross distances, I suppose, and activate it when I'm running out and trying to get away from trouble. Okay. They get a lot of damage in there, but it's gonna take a little bit of time to power it. It's gonna take a little bit of time to learn this hero as well, though. It's such a cool concept. I like it a lot. We can indeed set up several of these things, by the way. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do a whole lot, though. Trying to keep things alive, trying to keep things up and running, but I think we're gonna lose that very first objective there. We can actually continue onwards. Maybe I should just continue onwards with the looting for a little while longer anyway. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it for me to hang around for too long either. We'll pick up, I don't know, the Rift Shock, I suppose. That sounds pretty good. We can do a lot of damage, though. Maybe if we're really good at split pushing, I wonder. Oh, I'm actually out of mana there. Interesting. Did not really consider that part. There we go. Yeah, you need to make sure you put up a pylon as well. There's quite a lot to it. There's quite a lot to it. I like it a lot. The idea of the concept, I suppose. I mean, initially, I was a little worried that it might be too difficult to try and get this whole thing running, I suppose. But it's actually working out really well. Alright. I'll try and move over. Got him. Yeah, you do want to hide your pylons, because they don't have that much HP. I guess I can set up my cannons, though, just like that, to try and do some zoning. So that's going to slow him down quite nicely. Right now, though, I'm not fighting in pylon power, right? Oof. Got a lot of damage in there. Don't want him to die. Very good. Well, should I drink from the fountain? I guess I can. I actually get some more mana back for that as well. Very interesting. Now that is Nomi. Nomi is a very high level player. Obviously this is the PTR, right? So generally speaking, the players and the skill level is going to be pretty high. Look at that damage though, that's insane. Now they did also make some changes to other heroes as well, right? So that is important to keep in mind. I actually initially thought that he would be, or Probius rather, would be very, very flimsy. But not quite as flimsy as I expected it to be, I suppose. He's actually, you know, he's still got some sustain, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I should really be putting my my slows up a little bit more conveniently. Because I'm trying to set them up for that, like, 1-2 combo, that AB combo. Oh god. I'm caught in a weird angle. I'm not sure what talents to pick though. I'll go ahead and pick up the Pylon Overcharge, because we are of course level 10. I want to try and get him in range here, because we can indeed do a lot of damage with my ulti, but... Alright, well here we go. That's my ulti right there. I think I'm gonna have to try and get out of trouble. I'm not gonna be able to do all too much here. No, I'm not gonna be able to do all too much. I'm gonna try and get out of there. Oof. Oh no. Whew, I thought for a second he was gonna find me there. Not quite, not quite, not quite. Well, we'll try and get back into the combat. Probius right there, the opposing Probius does indeed get taken care of. Now, as far as my hero damage goes right now, it is rather low. I know very well that this is supposed to be a reasonably high damage kind of hero, right? But one of the things I am noticing, though, is that there is a lot of potential wombo combo, I guess, right? Like, if you set up your turrets well and you can do a lot of damage that way, you will be able to get a very, very nice amount of damage in. It's just not as easy as it looks. It's cool, though. I really like this concept. I think it's a really nice idea. I wish there was a little bit more range on the Q ability, but I guess that would be kind of overpowered if you were trying it out as an experienced player. Ooh. Apparently we got some crazy fights going on somewhere. You also have to shoot your Q ability straight through the center. That is also something important to keep in mind. Because otherwise it doesn't explode. Like, if you shoot it in close proximity, it does not explode. Now, there's a lot of fights going on, and sadly, I was not part of any of those. We'll try and move over. Oh, actually, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Why would you try and capture that? Well, that's not something I can threaten anymore. Apparently, we really desperately wanted to prevent this, but I'm not sure. Apparently, the entire enemy, or the entire ally team, ended up falling there. It would have been great, though, if I guess Abathur could have picked that up, but not quite. I wanna set up more turrets here so I can activate my ulti, but without any turrets, I guess it's gonna be very difficult to really get anything done. Don't want to be caught off guard, though. Okay, we'll activate it here. Oh no. There's no way I can actually get out of there. I activated my ulti. I tried setting up a second pylon here as well. I was hoping that my allied, like the hallucinated version, I guess, the copy that Abathur made, would also get the overcharge on the pylons, but it seemed like that was not going to be the case, which is a little unfortunate. We'll go ahead and pick up, I guess, the aggressive matrix. Power fields give additional damage. Allied heroes gain additionally 20% damage, which is huge, in particular when you activate your ulti, because the range is going to be a little bit higher up, right? All of a sudden, though, we are doing reasonably well as far as the damage output goes. Now, levels are looking a little in favor of the opposing heroes, just because they obviously had that curse and also picked up a very nice amount of kills. But of course, this is Heroes of the Storm, so it's the one game that can always be used for comebacks. I want to test out real quick how much damage I can do to these kind of things. There we go. There you go. The double explosion, actually. Very nice. That deals a lot of damage. I think that's the correct way of doing it. Okay, they actually got a boss just now, which is unfortunate. Can I queue him up? Can I do that? Yeah, I can, most definitely. Awesome. Need to defend the keep, though, because there's gonna be a bunch of pressure coming in. This will more than likely open them up to also get the other one going, if we're not careful. Go. We are gonna end up losing a little bit here, but nothing too insane. I mean, we're at the very least gonna end up losing, you know, I guess one of the towers, but that's, you know, that's to be expected. As long as we don't lose a keep, though. Obviously, if this is left all alone, that becomes a bit of a threat immediately. Now, there is currently a fight going on that I'm once again not part of. I'm trying to move over ASAP. Ugh. Come on! Come on, Probius! This is a big one, though. Because they both get the boss here, as well as... Oh, man. There's nothing I can really do here. I can try and capture the objective. There is that. I got my ulti here ready to go as well, which I guess is good. Actually, I think I got it. Alright. Managed to do quite a bit of damage there as well, but we're not going to prevent him from getting a boss, I don't think. Trying to, though. Very good. I think we actually get it. The Probius kills, though. Very sick. Very, very sick there. I don't know which one to pick here. We'll go with the knockback, I suppose. That was sick, though. That was a lot of damage that we managed to do there. That was awesome. There's a lot of potential here, though. If you steadily, like, move onwards, right? We should be able to get a curse now as well. Yeah, we should be able to get the curse now as well. If you, like, steadily put down your pylons and then the cannons and all that shenanigans. That's pretty insane. We're gonna be able to push here very aggressively. You can also see on the minimap, by the way, where the pylons are located. Very good.
My favor is yours, heroes. Your enemies shall. Well done.
Ooh. We're doing a lot of damage here. Obviously, we are split pushing, though, so that is a bit of a risk. There's a chance that we're gonna be in some trouble. I think I'm just gonna continue onwards here for a little while longer. No, I sadly did miss that one right here. Alright, we'll try and get out. Managed to do a lot of damage there, though. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. No! Okay, that was silly. That was a little silly. a little. Alright, well, hey. No king rules forever. That was a little ridiculous there, though. But that was pretty awesome. I managed to get a lot of damage in there. And on top of that, we are also topping the siege damage right now. Now, as far as the total pickups go, right? Because one of the things I am noticing here, we're not, like, last hitting a whole lot of heroes. And it seems like the cannon in particular is pretty dumb. Like, sometimes I put up the cannons in the middle of combat, right? And the cannons are firing at minions. I'm not sure if that's intended, but it seems like the AI sometimes, instead of focusing on a hero, forces, like, the... What? I'm pretty sure the cannon is prioritizing whichever is closest or whatever, and not necessarily the hero. Oh, get out, get out. Don't die, please. Don't die, please. Anyway, I don't know if that is true, but if that is the case, I'm thinking that a Q-based build would probably be way better, or even like a W-based build, I suppose. I'm there in just a minute, guys, but this is not quite the engagement. What is this? This is so messy, so sloppy, guys. The focus fire here is terrible. Okay. Got him. There we go. I don't know, I picked an ulti. Ooh, there we go. That was sick. Oh. Well, not quite what I had intended there. It's gonna take a while. This is gonna take a bit of practice before we get good at this. We can blow up like an entire minion wave right now, though. Insane. Really sick. Get out, guys. What are we doing? Why are we fighting? They're all here. Alright, well, I'm gonna get out. I'm sorry, guys. That was a total waste. Obviously, we had Alarak that was forced to back up, and therefore that fight was no reason to continue with that at all. Particularly not with the objective up. I guess we tried getting the keep. But they all just respawned with a few seconds, and all of a sudden they're now gonna be able to do the boss. I guess that's not too big of a deal, though. Okay, here we go. Time for explosions. I wonder actually if the bounce back at level 13 was the correct choice, considering we went for the additional explosions just now. Okay, how long is this one remaining? Just a few seconds. Oh man, those explosions are insane. Trying to like connect here as best I can. There's a huge connection, or there's a huge fight going on. That's the other ulti, by the way, right there. We tried our very best there, but we went really deep, really fast. And I think that even though this was a really sick match initially, and while we did seem to be able to come back, while we haven't quite lost just yet, though, this is not looking very great for us anymore. Now, actually, we are still pushing. If we could get one more break here, I guess it's time to group up as 5. If we manage to get one solid engagement, right, and we kill the key... Oh, actually. Ooh, nice. If we get one more engagement here, we could actually quite... Actually, no, I was being a little preemptive there. We just need to make sure that we don't die. Don't die. Don't die, please. Now, of course, this is going to be Arthas with a little hat on. And of course, the Abathur hat does make things significantly easier. He's playing it risky, though. Alarak is not allowed to go through. Oh, man, that was such a waste. That was such a waste. No, 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 don't die, please. Okay, good. Oh, that was really unfortunate there. Alright. We're still pushing, though. But, I'm starting to be a little worried here, because while I am killing some of them, and we are doing a very nice amount of damage here to the opposing heroes, I'm afraid that this is going to be very difficult for us to hold on to, because indeed the opposing team is able to do a lot of damage here, and I'm afraid this is indeed going to be GG. So very well played here by the team. I really enjoyed that match nonetheless, even though it's a loss. Probius, it's gonna take a bunch of practice, but he's very powerful when played correctly. I can already imagine him being absolutely, like, topping the damage meters, as well as, like, being, like, a default pick. Because if you are able, right, in particular on some maps, like, for example, say the temple, right, where you can, like, defend the location and therefore push onwards, you're gonna be able to do a substantial amount of work. I would not be surprised if it's going to be a big one. Actually, people are upvoting me. Fine, I'll upvote myself as well. Got him! So there we have it, a first look at Probius. I am most definitely planning on leveling this guy up more once he's available in the live version of the game. A very powerful hero. The talent selection is also very interesting because there's a ton of different options and a lot of skills that seem to be available that are very powerful. So I'm gonna have to mess around with those. I think I'm gonna go ahead and upload another video once I feel a little bit more comfortable with playing Probius. So in case you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get a notification as soon as those next videos will indeed go up. But other than that, I want to thank you very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I'll see you in the next one.